What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Blake's Take with me, Blake Neiman. And the NBA play-in tournament is the closest thing that they have gotten to bringing in a March Madness-like feel to the league. It's win and get in, lose and go home, at least for the most part. The way it works is the 7 and 8 seeds play, and the winner will face the 2 seed, while the loser will then face the winner of the 9 and 10 seed game. The loser of the 9-10 games, along with the loser of that second matchup of teams, are then, of course, eliminated from playoff contention. The tournament got kicked off with the team who, at the start of the season, we least expected to be playing in this situation in the Brooklyn Nets. They took on the Cleveland Cavaliers for a shot at the playoff berth. Brooklyn Stars came out to play in a critical game with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant combining for 59 of the Nets' 115 points on a highly efficient 22 of 31 shooting from the field and 4 of 7 from beyond the arc. In the first half, Irving quite literally couldn't miss, as he went 9 for 9 in the opening half, including a fadeaway shot at the buzzer heading into the break. In fact, Irving didn't miss a shot until his 13th attempt of the game. Durant, as usual, was getting buckets as he posted a cool 25 points. While these two are both among the game's most skillful scorers, it was their contributions in other facets of the game that allowed the Nets to prevail over the Cavs. Durant and Irving found open looks for their teammates in addition to themselves, with each finishing with 11 and 12 assists respectively. Not only that, but Brooklyn is starting to show some real promise in their defense, which has really needed to step up. They sure rose up to the challenge as Nicholas Claxton and KD combined for 8 blocks, doing a solid job at getting out and contesting the Cavaliers' shots. If the Nets can continue to increase their defensive pressure on opponents, they will be able to have a much better spot going on the offensive end and trying to compete in their upcoming series against the Boston Celtics, who have 2 elite scorers of their own in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who will be able to counter Irving and Durant not just offensively, but with their elite defense as well. As for the Cavs, they were left having to face off against the Hawks after they embarrassed the Charlotte Hornets in the 9 vs 10 game. In this winner-take-all matchup, it was most definitely a tale of two halves, as the Cavs were able to hold Trae Young as cold as ice in the first half, managing just 6 points, which left the Hawks having to trail against the Cavs by 10 at the break. But coming out of halftime, Ice Trae was back to true form as he flipped the script of this game, erupting for 32 points in the second half. Not to mention, Young dished out 5 of his 9 assists on the night in the second half, meaning that Young scored or assisted on 43 of Atlanta's 56 points in the second half, which is more than the Cavs scored in the whole half as a team. Last postseason, we saw the Hawks go on quite the run as an underdog, notably upsetting the 1-seed Philadelphia 76ers on their way to an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. Will they be able to replicate the magic this season against the Miami Heat? We'll have to wait and see. With the Eastern Conference playoff picture now set in stone, we head out west where we had a high-energy play-in game between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Clippers. Unlike in the East play-in games, the T-Wolves Stars wasn't the one who came out to play, as Karl Anthony Towns had just 11 points on 3 of 11 shooting from the floor, along with 5 rebounds and 4 turnovers. On the defensive end, he was also limited as he fell into foul trouble early, which forced him to have to play more conservative. Towns would ultimately end up fouling out midway through the fourth quarter, which left a big void for the T-Wolves at a crucial point in this game. Despite the loss of Towns, other players found a way to step up as the Timberwolves ended up finishing the game on a 23-11 run thanks to the offensive dynamics of Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell to go along with the defensive aggressiveness of Patrick Beverley. Ant-Man and D'Lo just kept hitting clutch shot after clutch shot, continuing to give their team a chance down the stretch with their combined 59 points in the game. On the other end of the floor, Pat Bev was creating havoc as usual, with his constant presence, forcing turnovers, snagging 7 defensive rebounds, and the steal to seal the deal for the Timberwolves, who clinched their first playoff berth since 2018 and only their second in the past 17 seasons. For a team that has struggled for so long to find positives, this victory was definitely filled with high emotion and was well deserving of it, as it was a great step in the right direction for this team. While the T-Wolves look to be on the come up, the Clippers appear to be tumbling down, as following the loss to Minnesota, LA, who was expected to take care of business against the young and upcoming New Orleans Pelicans squad, failed to do so after coming up short to the Pels 105-101. The Pelicans came to LA on a mission, and they were determined to walk away with the W. Brandon Ingram has been waiting for an opportunity at the postseason his whole career, so now that he finally got the chance, he took advantage of it, scoring 30 points, leading the Pelicans' offensive assault throughout the game. While Ingram may have been the leader, it is the role players that make the Pelicans squad what it is, as the bench came through with 37 points in the game, with Larry Nance Jr., Trey Murphy III, and Jose Alvarado coming up with crucial plays down the stretch. Nance and Murphy both played nearly the entire fourth quarter and combined for 13 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists in the frame. While Alvarado may have not stood out on the stat sheet, his hustle plays were crucial in the turnaround that helped the Pelicans claim their first playoff berth since 2018. The Clippers, on the other hand, have a tough pill to swallow, as they missed the playoffs just a year after making it to their first ever conference finals. This team had loads of potential, but it was all lost in the injuries to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. The Clippers seemed to be a sure lock for this year's postseason, given they were 6 games ahead of the Pels, but obviously this game showed to be a different outcome. This is what makes the play-in tournament so special. It is the closest thing the NBA can get to a March Madness type atmosphere, in which every team is laying it all out on the line for a spot in the postseason. Not only that, but it improves the quality of play during the regular season, as games down the stretch that were meaningless for so long are now vital for teams to keep their playoff hopes alive. The stakes are high, the emotions are flowing, and the basketball is outstanding. Overall, the play-in tournament has been a great move by the NBA, and after what we saw after this week, I have no doubt that it is here to stay. I'm so happy that we are able to have these matchups. It's so like win or go home. We never get this in the NBA. We always have to wait till March Madness and the NCAA tournament to see these magical moments play out. But we saw some pretty cool moments here in the play-in tournament, and I think it's a great addition to the NBA, and it really allows other teams opportunities. And who knows, maybe in the coming future, we'll see a 9 or 10 seed who originally in the old playoff picture would have fell out, could maybe go on and make a deep run to the conference finals or something like that. Wouldn't that sure be special? So this is just creating more hype and more opportunities for other teams to succeed, and I'm loving it. So overall, this is a great move by the NBA, and I hope you all enjoyed this play-in tournament coverage here on Blake's Take. You can catch all of the other NBA playoff action on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and or YouTube. Stay up to date on the socials, subscribe and like for more, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful day.